What's going on, you guys? So yesterday I went ahead and got the engine in the car. Pretty good milestone. We're getting ready to button it up, but I came across a really good deal today, so we're going to be doing something else on the car instead. So as much as I would like to be going through and buttoning up wiring, most of the wiring is actually done already. I fired it up, well, I didn't fire it up, but I keyed everything on and did some testing on all the electrical stuff, and everything seems to be working good. The AFC's wired in properly. We're getting good signals from everything on the engine, so we're gonna put this aside for right now because we're still waiting on the hot side for the turbo. But I did come across a really good deal, which is gonna help the build out on this car a lot, and that's for coilovers. So right now this car is basically just sitting with, cut springs, and I think it's got Camaro shocks on the rear, and then just, nothing in the front. But we do want to get a good set of coilovers for the car to help it out with some of those track days that we plan on doing. And I have a friend that has, the same chassis as this car, and he's got a set of BC Racing coilovers on it. He's not going to be doing anything with the car, and it's, a 5-speed car and all that, so I'm going to trade him straight up. I'm going to trade him my engine, that spec flywheel that I had with the car, and then I'm going to do some fab work on some of his other cars to trade straight up for the coilovers. But he's going to need suspension to put on that car, so I got to yank all the suspension off of this. That way I can bring it over to him. So I'm going to go ahead, get this thing up in the air, and take a look underneath it and see what condition the front of this car is in, because I haven't really even had the wheels off this yet. Well, not as terrible as I thought it was going to be. See how rusted these bolts are. Yeah, those are the ones I got to take out to get the spindle out, so yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and yank this suspension out of here. For the front here, there's a bolt in the bottom right here that comes up this way, and another bolt right here that comes up. Got to undo those, then undo these 3 here. That should get the front off. And in the rear, basically undo this shock. There's a bolt down here for this shock, and then a nut up top inside the car, and then that'll lower the control arm enough for me to get that spring out of there. So I'm gonna go ahead, yank this stuff out real quick. Okay, here we have the rear springs and shocks out of the car. I'm probably gonna replace these for him before I deliver them. Those are kind of blown out, so I'll get some new shocks for him to put on his car to replace those, because those are pretty bad. Springs are springs, those work fine. Now I just got to get the fronts out, so basically just undo these 3 bolts up there, 2 on the knuckle, hang the caliper, good to go. Well, the 2 bolts that I thought would be the hardest to get out actually came out pretty easy, so I just need to break that knuckle piece loose, because this is a spindle strut, so just break that piece loose. Undo the top bolts, undo the caliper, should pop right out. Alright, so the bolts and everything are off there. Got the lower bolts off there. We just left the caliper on the spindle. I'm just going to trade him the whole thing straight up if he's cool with it, just so I don't have to disconnect this line. Because the way these ones are, they're kind of a pain in the ass to do these brake lines, so if I can just leave it on here. I just undid the brake line from there, and now with a swift blow of a hammer, it's broken free, and I just got to lift it out of there. And there we have it, all the suspension off the Supra. While I got all this apart, I'm going to go ahead, power wash and clean and paint all this up under here, just to kind of tidy it up a bit. It's pretty dirty, so I should probably do these bushings, but I don't know if that's in the budget. Maybe I'll modify these knuckles while I got this all apart. Chop them down, extend some tie rods, make a nice little angle kit for it. Either way, I'm not too worried about that right now. But I guess we will pick this video back up when I get the coilovers and do the install. Okay, well, it is about 8 or 9 hours after we left off in the last part of the video, but there we go. We have the BC coilovers for the Supra. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get these tossed on. Okay, so the rear coilovers are installed. Well, shock and spring, not true coilover, but they're installed. I set them at a relatively reasonable height, hopefully. So I lifted them a couple inches from where they were when I got them. So we're just gonna have to wait and see where that sits when we put it on the ground. Now time to move on to the front. And just like that, with the magic of me not recording anything, the coilovers are in the car. So now all that's left is to pull the jack stands out of it, set it on the ground, see where we're sitting. If it's not right, I'm not adjusting it today because it's getting late, I'm tired, and I'm ready to go inside. So there is our current ride height. Looks like it could go down a little bit more in the front. The back seems pretty good though. Yeah, that'll work. Just lower it down a little bit more in the front, and I think it's gonna be good. So it's super awesome. I was able to get basically coilovers for the car for free by trading some stuff out of the old car. You know, definitely saves us money on the budget, and it's gonna give us a good suspension on the car now. I'm pretty sure some of the bushings and stuff are gonna need to be replaced eventually. When we get closer to the end of the build, I'll see what the cost would be on just buying new control arms with bushings in them already. They're probably not that expensive, so I might do that. But for now, that's going to be it for this one. So like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel if you're new, follow the build along, and I'll catch you guys later.